what's going on? We should be live. Let me test the audio. I am using OBS this time, so a bit of a different setup. Hopefully you're doing well. Happy 4th to anyone who's 4th, right? It's the 4th of July, yes. Happy 4th to anyone celebrating. I'm gonna just listen in to make sure my audio is good. And we'll get started. We're gonna paint this reference photo that I have on the screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Good. Is the volume a little low? No, it's low on my computer. Good, good. So you let me know if you're running into any trouble. You can't hear me well. You can't see me well. But yeah, I don't know how many people honestly will attend today. I do know that usually on the 4th of July, I get less viewers. It's pretty consistent actually. So I'm happy people are celebrating. That is good enough. Makes me happy, and you can watch the stream after the fact. Maybe you are already watching it when we're in the future. But in any case, thank you so much for being here. We're gonna paint a scene. So it's funny, I probably shouldn't have scheduled the one live stream where we're gonna paint a scene together to the 4th, but whatever. I have my huge jug of coffee, bottle of water. If this coffee is not spilled on somewhere on my desk by the end of the stream, then I've done a poor job. But in any case, yes. Hey Amelia, how are you doing? I won't be able to unfortunately show your messages on the screen because I'm not using StreamYard, just plain old OBS. Let me show you the desk for just one wee second. I also want to make sure the audio is okay when I'm on the desk, so let's actually test it out right now, make sure we're good. We're doing live audio test here. Hey Candice, hope you're doing well. Let's see here, the stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Okay, whatever, we'll give it some time. So let's see that I can hear the desk. Yeah, it's good, it's good. We got it. Good, good, good. So my face, and we're ready to go. I'm gonna mute myself. Oh my. Does it look a little bland in terms of colors? Can I correct that? Let's see if I can correct it live. No, I'll do it. Oh, wait, I know how to do it. Wait a second. Properties, configure vid. Let's increase the saturation just a bit. I mean, it looks a little ridiculous. I don't know if I'm imagining things, but whatever. Here we go. Okay, good. Yes, that's a city scene, Amelia. It's gonna be what am I doing? Sorry. It's gonna be this scene from New York. Another picture I took in New York. I'm on a real streak when it comes to painting these scenes from our travel to Manhattan back in 2019. And I think this is a good example of, you know, when I paint live, it takes a little more, like I really have to concentrate, make sure I'm doing a good job. And this is the perfect scene for that because it's, you know, it's one of those scenes that come a little naturally to me. It's very easy for me to just paint a cityscape. Now, I cannot guarantee a good result, but historically speaking, I'm quite decent at doing these kinds of views. I think it's a good opportunity to show you, again, an unconventional process where I'm painting this. Let me actually bring up can I bring up the chat now on the screen just for the, is it even necessary? I mean, you can see the chat on the side. Whatever. I'll just leave it like that. But yeah. So yeah, it's a scene that comes relatively naturally to me. I cannot guarantee a good result, but it's gonna be a fun one for sure. So let's see who else is here. Dwayne, hey, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Joanna, looking forward to this, and I learned so much from your demonstrations. Awesome, thank you so much. So yeah, I'm gonna take it easy. We're gonna take it slow. I'll probably go over to the desk and we'll continue from there. Again, if we run into any technical issues, you let me know. But we can get started on some kind of a first wash, see how it goes. All of my painting setup was in the living room because I'm working on the huge commission piece. So I had to bring some stuff over. It may not be as organized as I would like it to be, but that's okay. Now I am able to see your messages. I do have the chat on me here, so that's good. And I think we'll get started. So honestly, what I love about these kinds of scenes is that I can pretty much start wherever. I can start working on this from a lot of different angles. Now I'm actually seeing, my hand will be company for a second as I want to open up the stream dashboard. Will I be able to do that? I'm not sure. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. We'll leave it like that. There we go. Okay, hey Marjorie, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, you'll be able to see just my hands until I get a good setup with the camera up front. Hopefully that won't be too boring. And yes, so what I think we're gonna do, and hey Rucha, I don't know why the message was retracted. You can try and send it over again. So what we're gonna do is begin somewhere. Now, I do like often to start with the focal point, like this car, but I'm probably gonna start with this car because I have a better vision for how I want it to go. So we'll give it a try. So let's see, I have my water bucket right here. I have my paper towels and my brushes. And yeah, we're okay. I'm gonna start with something. Let me start with this one. I always rotate my brushes freely. Just use whatever I feel like at the moment. Now I did have my sprayer here. Where did it go? I had a water sprayer and now it's gone. There it is. Got it. Okay. Again, everything was in the living room. I had to bring it all back in. I mean, I do have multiple palettes and so on, but yeah. Now, just for fun, I'm gonna spray a bit of water here. Why? I have no idea. Let's let it flow a bit. We'll begin like that. And we'll get started. Hey, Rucha, how do you sketch the scene? I traced it, and you can decide to draw it from observation. I have traced it, put it on the screen, and just lazily traced it. But you can do it, of course, whichever way you feel comfortable. I also have the sketch in the description box. You can find links to the reference and the sketch if you want to see it in more details. So I do have that. You can see how I kind of approached it. I sketched it out pretty much exactly as it appeared to me without making too many changes. I did add details very sparingly, okay? Not too many details there, because I don't need them. I don't need too many details here. So I'm gonna start just establishing this car's, I don't know, it's a windshield, whatever it is. Kind of slowly and gently. Without going into too many details, let me zoom out on my own reference photo. I don't want to see it in too many details because that'll make me, there's a hair here, because that'll make me almost confused. Now I do see a touch of greenish blue. Now my colors are a mess. You can find a link below to my palette setup. So you can actually see it if you want to, my exact colors in this palette, but it is a mess and I'm using them all interchangeably. Okay, so just know, I kind of like it like this. Let's add maybe a bit of water to the center. What I love about starting a painting like this is I can just, begin with whatever I want and then focus on that for a couple of minutes. And just really bring out the most of this detail that I want to. So that's fun. I also have these more warm, kind of neutral colors. So let's add these in. Again, I'm just working this area. I don't know exactly what I'm aiming for. All I know is that I'm enjoying working on this area. Now, as I'm gonna open it up a bit, let me switch over. I actually need a more accurate brush. I don't have an accurate enough brush here at all, but we're gonna make do for now. I'm gonna switch over to some blue. This brush won't be accurate enough too, but we'll survive. So we have this kind of a blue shadow at the back. Now, as it faces up, oh, I was sure I shut my phone, put it on quiet mode. Is tracing okay? I always feel like I'm cheating. Should learn to draw it myself? Yeah, it's fine. Depends on what you enjoy and what you want to do. If you're the type of person who enjoys more the painting bit, so I don't really care about the sketching as much. If you're the person who will get better results from being able to draw it yourself, which some people are like that, you may find out that you have a better time learning how to paint it. And that is fine too. You're the only person who can figure that out really for yourself, but it's not a matter of allowed or not. It's more of a matter of what's the most effective for you. That's how I see it. So now we're starting to get something here, and I think it looks quite cool. Not in the sense of a temperature, but in terms of what it looks like. I'm gonna get a bit of a dark here near the bottom, just a bit. And I'm gonna get a bit of a red. By the way, I have a test paper here if I choose to use it. For now, I didn't really have to, but let's go ahead and incorporate some of that. I let it flow for now, but notice we have a lot of interesting nuances there on the bottom here. I'm going to capture them in kind of one go. It's pretty gray. So what I'm seeing is around that tire, it goes a little mid-value, and that connects here and connects there, and then it goes down all the way here, something like that, all the way down to the bottom. We're already in tire territory actually here. Let me clean this up real quick. Kind of messed up a bit of a highlight I was planning on saving for later. So that's going to connect with the tire. And the inner side of that shadow, let me show you what I mean. It's very hard sometimes to verbalize everything I'm doing, so you'll forgive me if I'm doing a bit of a crappy job at that. This side right here should be a little darker. There we go. And that can extend down to the tire and the shadow underneath, like so. And the side of the car, we're going to maintain that similar gray. And I'm going to see your chat messages in a second. My apologies if I'm a little slow in addressing them. I don't know if I want to zoom in. Let's zoom in a bit. Sometimes my camera gives me trouble when I do that, so hopefully it won't. So we'll do that for now. Now, as for the side of the car, I do see quite a lot of shadows. I'm going to try and kind of capture the overall pattern. Goes like this, and it leaves a bit of a highlight here. Connect here. And that, I think, would be the side of the car. And again, a bit unusual. I'm starting with the second car from us rather than the first. Hey, Phyllis. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, I enjoy stimulating. I thought you meant simulating, like all the trouble. But yes, thank you so much. Hey, John. How are you doing? Good morning, Nancy. Good. We're all caught up. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. It is the 4th, so very often I'll have fewer viewers, which makes sense. But yeah. So I'm going to mix a somewhat neutral dark. I'm using pretty much whatever I have at hand, as you can see. Yep, that's pretty good. And I'm going to start establishing some of these windows. Now again, without the full context of the scene, this won't necessarily yet make a lot of sense, but don't worry, the more details we add, the more it's gonna make sense. For now, we're building it up, building the impression up. There's a bit of a coolness up top here that I want to bring, and that's pretty much, I think, it for this car. Let's see if we can focus on the larger car now. That'll be fun. So how do I want to begin? Let's start with the left side of the car. I'm going to start mixing this kind of a warm, but I would say not that strong of a red. I do need a bit of this strong red. And let's see where that takes us. Yeah, that's better. So this is where you gotta be a little decisive. So the side of the car, what you'll often see is it goes dark and then it goes a little lighter near the bottom with an area that is significantly darker up above. So let's see if we can capture that little effect with a bit of a dark around here, just a bit of it, and then merge it into this. As soon as I get to this stage, I know I no longer, follow any highly detailed plan. I'm really big on figuring things out as you go along. That works really well for me. So I'm gonna lighten this a bit and start warming a little more towards the bottom, and you're gonna see this beautiful effect. Now you may wonder, what about the rest? What about all of this area? What about all the edges? I try not to concern myself with these things while I'm working on a specific shape, okay? When I'm working on the shape, I'm working just on that shape. And we'll have time later on to do some optimization, if you will. So we'll see what will come out of all of these details, okay? We'll let them unfold as we paint. So let's get all of this warmth here. Very dark though. And I think I can almost just go for it, I can almost do this crazy thing. Leave a couple of the highlights there. And as we reach down here, leaving some specks. Worst case, whatever details we lose, we can bring back later on with some opaque paint, but I don't think we'll have to rely on it that much, actually. So this area is a little lighter. A little more neutral too, by the way. Let's see if I can kind of get that thing going. A little more neutral. And again, as it moves inwards, I'm going to start bringing back a little more of that violet-y purple color. As we get here to this area, we begin having a bit of reflected light from the environment. So it goes a little lighter and more, a bit more neutral and blue, a bit more almost blue introduced into the mix. It's okay if it doesn't make sense to you right now. Just give it a couple of moments and it will. I'm gonna use this strong red strong blue, sorry, for the license plate. Then go back to some gray over the sides of the license plate. Then fill in this area with whatever I have. And as we move down, I actually ran out of black color. I should have refilled it, but we'll make do for now because this has to be fully dark. Check it out. Hey Isla, hope you're doing well. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. And as we reach towards this area, check it out. Goes darker, and it's this dark that will help us define the transition between the car and the shadow, okay? And we're not done yet, don't worry, but it will begin to appear in front of your eyes, the scene, that is. Here we have another car. Let me be a little careful. All the way down here with this shadow. I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to continue going a little stronger where I need to be and combine this shadow underneath with some darker details and darker areas, this around the center especially. This is really the time I just go all in and start placing stuff, not being timid or scared. However I see it, I'm placing it in. And if it works, it works. If it makes sense, it makes sense. This is something that improves with your artistic taste and your visual perception. The more these improve, what we're doing right now will also improve. And as we get to this spot here that's a little lighter, I want to go clean. So I'll do this with just some clean color and close off the gaps that need to be darker. All simultaneously, I'm doing everything at the same time, the same moment, you see? And it's a bit crazy to paint like this, I will admit, but I don't know, it works for me. So let's see where this goes. I'm gonna get a bit more of the black paint here, and I think I'll take a moment in a second to bring in more. I have paint, I just need to squeeze it into my palette. So I'll have more darks. But you see it starts to, if you walk away from the screen for a second and come back, you'll see it instantly. It starts to read as a car with all of these little details, little highlights. And what we'll do is I'm gonna do a little break here and take things over to the desk because I want to talk a bit about what just happened here. Okay, there's quite a bit to talk about, and then we can continue. But we can just wrap up some of the darks while we're at it. So we have this dark shapes here, these dark shapes rather. These are the dark, like almost black. We're gonna fill in the mid values in a couple of seconds. Don't worry, we're not done. There's a bit more to include here. There's some completions, corrections, optimizations. We'll do all of that, don't worry. Here we go. I think that puts us in a nice spot. To take a quick break, I'm going to take this over to the table and show you. So, what do we have here, right? So we have this thing. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can read it well. Let me turn on the light. See, we're going to give this a couple of moments to dry, but this is how it works best for me, if I'm being honest. It's just about putting, let's see if I can close some software, because it says my bit rate's a little slower than it should be. Maybe free up some RAM. But yeah, okay. And if you have questions, now is a good time to ask them, but I think this is a good moment to pause for a second, because once I move on with the next wash, it's gonna be, we're getting down to business. But in any case, as you can see, this starts to take shape. All of these little abstract shapes that I have here, the accumulating effect of it is, it starts to look like something, okay? And if you're able to throw in whatever you see in there, you saw there's no real method to this, no method to the madness. I just throw paint over the paper. I see it goes dark, I add dark. I see it goes light, I add light. And that's something I don't talk about a lot. I'm very inaccurate in my placement. I'll very often place something close to where I'm seeing it. I can't really tell exactly where it is, but I'll place it. And together it still looks wonderful. So I hope that makes sense. I'm waiting your questions. Let me rearrange my mic. Sorry if it did a bit of a crickling noise. John, question, how is your 4th so far? Well, I'm not celebrating. I'm not in the US, but I am very happy for everyone who does celebrate and enjoy it. You should enjoy it. What is it? Fireworks, barbecue, fun stuff, right? Yeah, that's how we try to do our holidays as well. By the way, thank you so much to everyone who's here. Thank you, Rucha, once again. Thank you, Emilia, John, Phyllis, Isla. And okay, I think if we don't have any questions, we can just continue. Now, just a quick note before we do. Thank you so much, Janzart. Thank you. And you saw I wasn't really working that hard on matching them. It just kind of works. One quick note about flow. As we mentioned, as we talked about in a couple of videos, flow isn't really a necessity. It's okay not to have flow. It's okay if, I'm kind of tempted to scan this, if I'm being honest with you, just to show where I paused. I may do that. I may give it a couple more seconds to dry here. Let me fan it out a bit. I'm really tempted to do this because you see these areas, I just stopped. Watercolor does not require you to have flow. Yes, this car has a bit more flow to it, right? We started a little more flowy, but I'm often enjoying more this rough process of placing in a bunch of shapes. I will really enjoy it more often sometimes than, you know, being very neat with my flow. Neither am I with how the world is. Yeah, if you're having a hard time celebrating, that is fine. You don't have to. I'm not a person who celebrates much anyway, so when I do get the chance, I try to at least. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it a few more seconds. I do want to scan it. I don't have my hairdryer here, so we kind of have to wait for a couple of more moments, so my apologies. Let me, in the meantime, just make sure we're good in terms of the visuals. I don't know why I get this weird warning. I'll just go to a random spot in the stream. I mean, it looks good. I'm gonna have a very easy time cutting this into just a video, I'm sure of it. Oh, by the way, a quick thing. I mentioned I'm gonna be on vacation. Hey Henny, hope you're doing well. Haven't joined the live in years. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Finally, it's a painting stream, so you get to watch me paint. I wanted to mention we're going on a vacation. It's gonna be this Sunday till Thursday, including. So I will try and schedule a bunch of interesting short videos, not full length probably. If I manage to, I will have a full length video as well, but I'm doing a bit of an overhaul with my content strategy. So you may see a couple of new formats and things you haven't seen before. But yeah, let's, what I can do is a trick. You can dab a bit. Let's see if I'm not gonna destroy it by dabbing, just to dry out the areas that are still a little wet. I really want to scan it, but I don't want to waste too much time on waiting for it to dry. Yeah, I think we're good. I think it will work. Worst case, the scanner will get a little dirtied. Who does plan on celebrating the 4th and is still here? Like, you'll do it later. I'm curious to hear. Or if you're celebrating, it means you're not here. Curious to see. Let's move on to the desk. I'm just gonna scan it real quick for myself before we move on. Thank you for your patience. John, oh, I hear that you can trace to draw. How do you do that? I was trying last night. The way I do it, honestly, very simple. Let me switch back here. I simply place my, I have this setup, doesn't work. I simply placed my paper on my monitor, my computer monitor. I tape it and then I close all the lights so that I see through it, and that's how I trace, and I just draw on top of it. If that makes sense. Now let's continue with the process. So here it is. Again, already we're starting to figure out some details, what we're looking at. All of these small highlights really do wonders among the darks. And one more thing I kind of forgot to note, notice how just the fact that I was able to capture this bottom area here already helps to tell the story of reflected light. So it makes it more believable. Even if you don't understand exactly why it looks more believable, it does look more believable. That's kind of how it works. So now we'll get started on the top area. Let me get a smaller brush. Sorry, it'll take a second and I can talk to you while I do that. I just want to be more accurate for this section. So what you'll notice is lighter areas tend to be a little more vibrant. So we'll do that. They're more exposed to the light. So let's see if I can match something that is similar to the color I'm seeing. It's not super ultra bright, but it is bright enough for me to kind of try and go for it. Yep, that's better, I think, just lighter. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm gonna place the light shape here. and it almost starts as a blue, but we'll get that in a second. So you'll notice there's a nuance here. So this light shape right here, see this? I really like the way it looks. I can actually go over this section a bit. And then I'm gonna add just a bit of blue, because you'll notice it's very subtle, but as it moves to the left, it's a little more on the blue side. And then it goes a little warmer. And then on the inside, we're gonna go darker. Okay, it's gonna be darker and a little more muted. So let's add this thing, whatever that is. It looks good. But it's still quite strong actually, so I don't want to mute it too much. Let's start with this and see how we do. So very gently, these two shapes are gonna touch, but I hope to have some separation between them for now, like so. Now, if you made a mistake or you feel like you're not as accurate, you can improve it. So it feels to me like it's more of a fiery red here. So I'm gonna go back with some of my warmer red and see what happens. Something like that. Here as well, just a touch. And we're gonna kind of close this area off. Then I'm gonna switch over to my more fiery, warm, whatever you want to call it, red. There are quite a few highlights on these taillights. So I want to make sure I skip those if I can, just to give it that look, you know, that look of a reflective surface. And now it is time to neutralize. So I'm gonna add a bit of yellow and a bit of blue. We're gonna create a gray. I have my test paper here. And that gray will be used to start capturing the shapes inside the taillights. A bit gently. There's a lot of these rounded shapes, and then this goes through, and this entire area will be in the shadow. So let's just fill that in real quick. And underneath there's this line. I'm gonna rotate this line here, under which we get this nice pattern, once again, of light and shadow. And that should start telling our story, okay? Now within this shadow, we also have some darker shapes, which we can include a bit of here, wet and wet. And I hope that gives you that bit of a, you know, more complete story of the scene. The other side, I'm just gonna keep it a little neutral, I think. Doesn't look like too much is going on there. Now, windshield, or the back glass. Now where's my, there we go. So I have this dark paint. Let me use that neutral black. I like this color a lot. Neutral black by Rosa Gallery. I have reviewed these before. John, because when I stop and look, I know that what I did wrong with, I don't somewhat understand, but I have the idea because I doodle, but I'm getting better. Because when I stop and look, I know what I did wrong with the body and how to change the body parts, where they need to go. Yeah, that makes sense. What will happen is usually your understanding of what you got wrong will gradually improve with time, and then your skills will begin matching it. But sometimes it can take them a bit of a while to get to the point where you can match what you figured out your mistake, quote unquote, is. That is a very normal experience. Henny, have seen a couple of posts pop up, but what's the story behind the super large paintings? Oh, I'm enjoying them. And do you set a rough number of focal points or try including all the details? For a large painting, you do need quite a lot of focal points, so I just include everything, if that's what you refer to. I'm working on a huge commission to a customer I really appreciate. And I am trying to just include all the details there. I do also want to have a few very clear focal points that look good, that tell the story well. But a part of it is including a lot of details that I'm seeing. Yes, I will share more about that large commission in the future. I have filmed some of the process. I am documenting the general process of creation. What I will say, kind of heart to heart, this has been a challenging year for me in many, many different ways. And this commission work kind of came at a perfect timing. Makes me very happy and grateful. Just something large I can sink my teeth into and make a considerable amount of money on. And it's, you know, I barely take commissions, but it's the perfect customer. They want my style, basically, so I don't have to, you know, change things too much. It's a scene, honestly, I would be happy to paint it, even if it wasn't for a commission, which is, to me, the perfect type of commission. I'm very, very hesitant to take commissions, and that includes friends, too. Very hesitant to do it. That you know, I may make a gift for a friend or for family, but when it comes to actually having, you know, them tell me how they want it and me having to you know, be up to a strange standard or something, not that I had this happen too much. I'd much rather just gift a painting to a friend rather than be, you know, in that spot. That's kind of how I am. So to have a commission work that is exactly, you know, the thing I like painting, my style, something I enjoy, to me it's a big, big gift. So I'm very happy about that. That's the story behind the huge painting I'm working on. I shared a bit of it in the stories. So yes. Now I'm gonna need a bit of a warm yellow to have this here reflect all the buildings around. Needs to be warmer. That's not warm enough. Come on. There we go. There we go. It should be a little more neutral, honestly. Let's see. Let's see if I can neutralize it without taking away too much. There we go. I think. Should be lighter. It's very misleading. It's actually lighter. That's the thing I'm missing. It being lighter, and I am seeing a bit of a dark line next to it, so why not capture that too, just to tell the story even better. I do see a bit of darkness here as well. This is just dark here as well. It's a little dark underneath, and this is a wonderful example of a process. Another process I can sink my teeth into and really enjoy it. And then if I want to do a more detailed or more careful version of it, I can definitely do that for just a bit of a larger, like double size. So double this size, and that's gonna be a bit of a more detailed work that I'll have an easier time putting in all the details. And by the way, Henny, I find that kind of a magical number for focal points. Again, none of this is rules, but a nice magical number of focal points is 3. If you can get 3 very interesting focal points, usually it makes the paintings very interesting. I don't know why. How are you doing, by the way? Are you able to continue painting? Sorry if I missed any emails. I don't believe I have, but if I have, my apologies. And as we reach to the right here, I'm gonna add a bit of the blue. Just a bit of coolness, because the sky is starting to almost show through there, but it's more of a just cooler. It's not really a blue. And then if we go back to that same neutral from earlier, we're gonna have some details from the buildings that are reflecting through here. And then I'm gonna add the yellow once these dry. But we do have this thing here. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this really starts to take shape. I really like this one. Thank you so much, John. There is this channel, I watch his shorts and he calls them mistakes, and he makes you think, oh, okay, I was just thinking about that. They opened my eyes. Yeah, I'm happy that helps. Just, you know, be sure you're not putting yourself in the trap of thinking everything that doesn't go your way is a mistake. People frame way too many things as mistakes, if I'm being honest. Things that really I don't think are mistakes. So I'm going to use my other blue here, a bit more lilac-y and neutral, just a bit. So look at what I'm going to do here. I'm going to build a frame for the windows that's a little blue. And it's probably, it could be a little lighter too, if I'm being honest, but let's get started with that. So I'm building a frame. That's just to make it more interesting. And then once I'm done with the frame, I'm gonna go back with just the darks and see how I can fill in the windows in an interesting way. And that's going to wrap up the story for this car, if that makes sense. Now, one thing I like to do, if I need to, say, darken this line, I'm gonna go back with a damp brush and just go over it, letting some of the paint go in there. That usually is enough to close the gap, still make it look like a line, but make it a little gray and not just paper white. Close off this mirror, add a bit more of a light gray in the middle there. And just close off these little annoying gaps. Now here's the fun part. You want to pay attention. By the way, Bhumika, thank you so much. I love your work. You're totally amazing and fabulous. Thank you so much. Henny, existential question alert. Has it all been worth it? Are you achieving what you want being an artist or teacher? You know, I've been thinking about it a lot. It definitely has been worth it, but I'm not achieving everything. I have a lot more goals. I'm a little confused right now as to exactly what they are and how I'm going to set out to achieve them, if I'm being honest. It's a weird time. We can talk about that maybe in the next break when I stop painting. But yeah, it's something that's on my mind always. But yeah, it's definitely been worth it so far, for sure. I mean, I'm able to make a living from my art. That is pretty insane. I've never had fun in a job before. So the thought of getting a job instead of what I'm doing right now is quite depressing. So yes, I would say it's more than worth it. So I'm gonna just carve out, I told you I'm gonna be filling in the mid values. So this is what we're doing right now. And if we're a little lucky and a little careful, the overall impression will work out and it will look like a tire, almost. And here as well, mostly here and here, leaving a bit of a highlight there. I think this could be just a little bit gray. Now, if you really want to just bring it over the edge, grab a bit of paint, a bit of red and a bit of black, I can definitely add something like a bit of a detail here for the connection between the doors of the car, just to give it a bit more, you know, structure. And we have the door handles. We're gonna add, I kind of painted over the highlights there, that's fine. But that gives it a bit more structure, right? And I think this car is pretty much done. There's a bit of a shadow here you could optionally include. To me, this is just perfect, you know? That's how I see the car. That's how I see its details. It's a tricky one, but lately I've been doing a really good job with these dark, messy darks. I don't know how else to call it. Just messy, dark shapes have been working quite well for me lately. I don't know why. I'm not sure what it is. But they have. Okay, now I am going to just do one last touch. I told you there's going to be a bit of warmth on the roof of the car, and then I'm going to bring it over. We'll look at it a bit and continue with our process. But this here should be a little kind of warm. There we go. Just to show that it's buildings reflecting on it. And now that I think about it, This should be a little darker, but I'm gonna leave it for now like that. Maybe instead I'll lighten up the yellow. That could work too. There we go. Okay, let me bring this to the desk and we'll kind of look at it. I don't know why I didn't just bring my other chairs in the living room. So we have this right now. Now, do you want to see the scan? Maybe I'll share with you the scan. Let's see here, documents, scan documents. We'll look at the scan and we'll chat a bit and then we'll continue. The rest of the painting is going to be relatively fast, don't worry. Let me just crop it up real fast and then I'll kind of look at if there's any messages I missed. Just to show you the previous stage actually. Okay, good. Image, scan 1, let's call it. Browse, documents, scanned documents. There we go. Okay. So just to show you what it looks like scanned, I quite like this look. And yes, so you can tell the story is starting to be told. And don't forget, with more context, with more background, it's going to look much, much better. I don't know why I'm looking here. I should be looking here. So let's see what I missed. Hey Fiona, how are you doing? I think I missed that one. Jan's Art, thank you so much. Good. By the way, I'm curious, everyone, have you been seeing my posts and videos, or are you just, you know, finding out? Okay, so I need your help with this. I'm not sure why some of the content gets less views, and it's not just me, it's everywhere. There's more competition, there's more people making content, but I am curious to hear from you because it will really help me to know, are you using less social media, generally speaking? Are you using it still, but feel like you're seeing less of my posts? Are you still seeing the videos, the posts on Instagram or Facebook? Let me know, feed me information in the chat. I would really appreciate it. Would really help me. I'm not sure what it is, but I will work towards improving it. Thank you so much, John. Very happy you think it looks good. Nancy, I'm so glad for your commission. Interesting how some things come together in just the right way at the right time. Yes, it is true. It is very true, yes. I find that it happens quite often. But the thing is, I am a little worried because generally speaking, social media and stuff like that do get less views and less. It's not just me. So for the long run, it will always have a long-term effect. If right now a lot of videos explode and get a lot of views, in 6 months or in a couple of months, it will have a compounding effect where more sales, more painting sales, more course sales, more views, more etc. And when there's a lull, it projects over to the next couple of months, if that makes sense. So yeah. Let's see. Henny, no worries, no emails missed. To be honest, I'm not consistently painting at the moment, just if and when I get inspired and the itch. Okay, got it. Cool. If anyone's watching Brooklyn 99, cool. Nancy G, 3 focal points. I like that tip. Yeah, it usually ends up working somehow, you know? Like when I look at this painting, I would say the main focal point is obviously this front car. And I would say also the car next to it, how they communicate. Then we may have a bit of a red and orangey around here. That could be another focal point, and then maybe some greens or something like that, or a person, you know, whatever. It's not again, it's definitely not a rule, but it's just an interesting guideline. Thank you again, Bhumika. I love your work. Thank you so much. His channel, John, you say his channel is called Excel's Art Tips Shorts. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's just shorts probably. Nancy, this painting looks great. I'm giving more thought to painting more colorful. Awesome. You know, and when you actually look at the colors I'm using, it's not that colorful. It's, I would say it's quite muted most of the time. That's the thing you have to understand if you want to be more accurate in your colors. most of the colors you're seeing, generally speaking, are neutral. It's the way they all work together that makes something look good. Usually there aren't necessarily a lot of vibrant colors. And by the way, don't worry if you don't like that we talk a lot. I know most people do appreciate it, but if you prefer more painting, less talking, there will be over the next couple of weeks a version of this process that is just a process. I tend to do that. I'll cut out all the other talking. Henny, which do you paint first? Focal points or focus points or background? Do you always paint focus points first? Example, this car. So this varies a lot. I'll go with my instinct and my feeling. So sometimes I'll feel like painting the focal point first. Sometimes I'll feel like starting with the background. Usually if I have a clear image of how I'm gonna paint a bit out of the painting, I'll start with that. I'll find a place where I feel most confident that I know how I'm gonna paint it, and that's where I start. And a lot of the time my processes look like that all throughout. It's like, okay, what's the next thing I'm certain of? Or what's the next thing I know how I want it to look? And then I do that, if that makes sense. There's no rules. It's a matter of feeling, and that feeling is usually influenced by what I feel most confident to paint next. John, when you do the license plate, do you code your name in it? I should. I definitely should. I see like 1 or 2 on YouTube. Not as much if you're posting every day. Oh, I see like 1 or 2 on YouTube. Okay. I see. So I don't post every day. I do, usually I do Tuesday, Thursday's a live stream, and then Saturday is another video. Royally Blue. I only watch a few selected art and carnivore channels, no Facebook, IG, or any other social media. Okay, that's good to know. Dwayne, I see all of them on YouTube, I think. It seems to be a hit or miss on the other social media platforms. The algorithms are terrible. Yeah, I get it. I'm not sure if the algorithms are terrible or you just have to know how to work them. At the end of the day, they do what they can to keep people on the platform. So your content has to keep people watching. Royal Blue. Sorry. It's funny that you spell it royal and it still reads as royal. I'm improving my watercolor because I follow your channel and a couple of others that help me, I guess, enormously. Your car is beautifully transforming, enjoying the process. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, and we will, I think, shortly continue with it. Trish, I so appreciate hearing your thought process as you paint. Awesome. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. That's why I posted this video of just, right off the top of my head, painting and talking instead of editing a narration after the fact. I know people enjoy the narrated videos where I finish the process and then record, and I edit it and shorten the process. It helps to keep the process down to 15-20 minutes. But if I really... It's easier for me to talk while painting and just film it in one go. Then I don't have to edit. But I just know sometimes the end result is too long for some people to watch, which is why I do a mix. I hope that makes sense. So let's talk a bit about the plan for the next steps. Moscow Cowboy, good morning from Jacksonville. Are you in New York today? No, I'm not in New York. I'm not in the US at all. But I have been, today, well, with this process we are, I guess, in New York. Yes. And check it out, by the way. When you look at it up close, but then look at it from afar, look at how nice it looks. In the smaller version, it reads really, really well. But yeah, this is from the time we visited New York. So what will be my plan for the next steps? Honestly, you could take it in many different directions. I could begin working on the details or another car or what's around the cars. I could start with the road and get a bit of value on the ground. What I kind of feel like doing is I feel like I can get away with a lot of simple abstract shapes around this area. So I'll probably get started on that. I'm just getting this light building, then this darkness, then this light yellow again, then darkness, then light red, then darkness. I think I can get away with painting these in one go. I think that's how we're going to do it. And then I can start adding the ground and other details. This is, you see it live, Hanny. I just go with what makes me feel like I can paint next. The ground could be another good direction. I feel good about painting the ground too. Maybe we'll do that. You'll notice there's a bit of warmth here. And then here in this asphalt area, it goes a little gray. So maybe we'll do that next. I'm not sure, we'll give it a go. By the way, maybe I will scan it once again so we have the next step. Why not? Let's have it. You do seem quite patient, so thank you so much for that. I like to have these stages for later. I can share them on social media. Let's see. Royal Blue, I forgot to ask what paper is best for your art. I'm using cold press. That's what I like personally. I like hot press too sometimes. Mostly Saunders Waterford or Arches, 300 grams. That's my favorite type of paper. 600 is a real treat. It's just unnecessary and it's more expensive. Dwayne, I agree with Trish. I love hearing you talk through the process. Thank you so much. Very happy. I'll continue doing a mix. John, oh, I do get some of your shorts, I think. You had one yesterday. Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, the shorts usually get more views. And you know, honestly, you could just do shorts and reels and get more views, but I like photos. I like sharing photos. Whatever. Moscow Cowboy, thank you so much. I will do my best to be safe. Hillel, question in Hebrew. We'll start with Hebrew and then I'll translate. תמיד עובד נקודתית על כל חלק בציור, שלפעמים אתה עובד בשכובות, לפעמים אתה מחליט את הדרך. So yeah, it's a question of, do I work on, focus on one area of the painting and kind of finish it off, or work in wider layers? So it's very visible here that I just go with an area and work on that as much by feeling. And if I feel like I want to do a light wash, I will do a light wash. If I feel like I want to do keep my attention on one area and slowly and gradually take it towards completion, I'll do that. There is no rule. בגדול הלל, אני ממש כאילו מחלק את אני listen to some Hebrew. זה ממש תלוי, ממש עניין של מצב רוח. לפעמים אני ממש רוצה לעבוד על איזה חלק מסוים, להיכנס לפרטים, ממש להקות תוך כדי בזמן שזה רטוב. לפעמים אני פשוט קופץ בין אזורים, עושה קצת אזור בעיר פה, אזור בעיר שם. זה ממש עניין של תחושה. משהו מעניין אותי בסצנה, והדבר הזה שמעניין אותי, זה הדבר שאני מתמקד בו באותו הרגע. ואם אני מרגיש שאני ממש רוצה להוציא את הפרטים נגיד במאחורה של המכונית, אני אתרכז בזה מלא. ואם אני מרגיש שאני רק רוצה לתת גוש כזה ווש מהיר, אני אעשה את זה. עניין של ממש אינטואיציה ורצון. אין פה איזה חוק או כלל. How that makes sense. John, can you do a background, then go to the cars as the background is drying up? Yes, sure. And I can also do the ground and then the background and then go back to the cars. Yes. Wet on wet for the background? No, Moscow Cowboy, I will not. For my experience, I like the result better when it's just wet on dry. You'll see how I'm going to do it, but if I wet all the background, it's going to be a mess. I don't need it to be very soft. I need it to be sharp-edged in many places. So yes. Mark, I love your choices and scenes to paint. Very unassuming, very everyday. Yes, that's how it ends up being. Dwayne, no work for me today, so let's paint all day. Awesome, that's fun. That's cool. A good way to spend the day. John, I like these as well. I can draw and listen to you. Cool, cool. Do you want to see the scan of this version of this stage? While we're at it, I mean, it kind of looks the same as what I've shown you. We'll keep it. Let's continue with the process, and then we can do that later. Switch over to the desk. It is, and we'll get on it. I just need my painting that's currently in the scanner. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, I will probably begin working on the background. So, real simple, we're gonna keep this simple. Let's use this larger brush here. So I'm going to mix a warm that is also, it's not just warm, it has some neutrality to it. But it should mostly be light. I think the key here is to keep this one light. And I'm gonna show you how I do this kind of a thing, because it is quite interesting. I think that would work. So I'm gonna go over this entire building, just like that. The glow will come later when we add the darks, so don't worry about that for now. And we'll do the entire building. There's a car here. I'm gonna skip that for now. I'm just gonna add that yellow on the bottom. It has this bit of warmth on the top, sorry. Something like this. And while we're on this area, I can just indicate there is a tree here that I can later on bring more details into if I choose to do so. But this is gonna be a dark car underneath, so we can really kind of pause the wash there. Now, I'm gonna start mixing in my dark background shadowy area, okay? Now this is not black. In the past I used to make this mistake all the time. If something was dark, I would just paint it black, would end up quite boring. It is not, okay? Now let's see what we have here. So this is probably a little too light. But I can start with that and slowly and gradually build up the darkness. It is a little warm too, so that's something to note. But I already have some warmth, so that's fine. And here I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go for it confidently and connect the two areas together. And hope for the best, pretty much. This is gonna be our strategy here. It's okay for this to mix a bit, but I'm gonna tilt the paper just like that so that gravity moves it over there. It's okay for them to mix though, because it's still in the background. I'm not looking for a wet in wet effect, but I am looking for a background feel, okay? And I'm gonna be a little careful as we get to these points. You see, you don't have to be super accurate. It will work. This is gonna be a nice little green color around the car here. Will moving it like this help? I'm not sure. Let's see. And this is fine, actually. I'm okay with that. This is not too much flow, but it gets close to being too much. So I'll have to be careful here and hoping it won't flow too much more. Now, I'm just putting in some darks here very, very abstractly, because now I'm gonna need my strong yellow. Because look at what I'm gonna do. This is a trick I learned a while ago. You can add very opaque yellow here and make it look like a tree within the shadows, and it's gonna have a nice flow to it. You could honestly do the same here. Not as important though. And that's gonna provide the green we need just to convince the viewer that there's a shadow here. You could add a bit of phthalo to it if you wanna make it a little brighter too. But now I want to get this little traffic light thing going, so I'm just gonna do this, see? And I don't have to move onto this area because we have a hard edge here, but I'm just starting to bring out some colors because I can. That's pretty much the only real reason. Maybe there's a traffic light here, adds a bit of warmth to it. There is this red, so I mean, why not place that in here? I'll do that sometimes. I'll just place a detail I see. Yeah. Kind of abstractly, but you see how it opens up the colors a bit. Now, I do want to include a bit of blue there. I feel like a bit of blue is missing. A bluish gray. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It's all instinct. So we can do something like that. Just to bring in a little blue to this. In fact, this car is blue, so I can use that blue now, here. Like so. For the left side of the car. And as I get to some darker areas, just switch over to my darks. And hopefully, this will create something that works. We'll see. This is almost like painting with no pencil lines, almost, in a way. And we have the cast shadow of the car. Now this does need to go a little darker. I know it looks dark, it's not enough. Especially near the bottom and around the tire and around the top here. Maybe I exaggerated a bit there. Let me see. Let's just lift that bit here, just a bit. There we go. There needs to be a bit of a sharper transition there. There we go. We saved it. Okay. And then the other car is kind of a dark blue. Hey Kano, I'm gonna read your message in a moment. Thank you so much for being here. So let's get this other car. Maybe it's I painted it as a taller kind of pickup truck, that's fine. Or a van. Bottom part should be a little darker. See, while I'm working on these kinds of shapes, it's very hard to just take a pause and look, if I'm being honest. You have to kind of keep the flow going. I'm gonna come back with just a damp brush, get this tire in, get these windows. They start kind of light and blue and then go into black. Let's just do this. Let's put a black down at the bottom and then use water to help it go up. Like so. And I think that works well. Now, the one piece to complete this is adding the shadow behind it. So once we do that, a bit of a cool shadow, we will frame the car essentially in a way that will make it look good. Check this out. There's a cast shadow and this. So this area is still wet, so I have to be a little careful here. But we did frame the car. See? There's this thing here, I don't know what it is, has a lot of details in it. You can start placing those in. Not even sure what they are, but you see how the car, it looks like a car. It began to look like a car. This could be a little darker. Towards the bottom it goes lighter. This is all in the soft touch. Very hard to verbalize what I'm doing here. It's a variety of just manipulations of the paint. We have another thing here. The best thing, if you're looking at this and you're wondering like how to do it, the best thing is to experience it for yourself. You won't know exactly what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, but what you can do is figure out, okay, that's a thing that is possible to do, and then you go ahead and you give it a try yourself. Now, of course, there's this lovely shadow on the awning that I've been wanting to get for a while now. So it goes here, and then it goes here. And then it has this little blended transition. I have a plan for a video that will be very interesting. I'll kind of compare how I used to paint stuff and how I paint them today. And today I'm being a little more direct and true to every process, whereas in the past I would follow formulas more. It's gonna show it to you in a really good kind of contrasted way. I think you'll like it. Don't know when it's gonna be out, but it's an idea I've had. You see, it takes a shape, it becomes something. Quite like it. Okay, let me just take a moment to look at some of the messages. John, can you do a background then go to the cars? Yes, we talked about that. Okay, Kano gameplay. I don't have brush control and I overdo the colors and painting becomes chaos every time. What to do? You know, it's a bit hard to comment on it without seeing you work or seeing the work. So feel free to email me and I'll try and see if I can add some useful ideas for you. It's very hard for me to tell without seeing it. So email me. You can find my email on the channel. I would be curious to see. It's very hard to say. I kind of get what you're saying, but not enough to actually advise on a practical thing to try, okay? So I know that's not a really useful answer at the moment, but if you do reach out to me, I will do my best to direct you. Now, just a bit of windows while we're at it. I thought we're gonna continue, but you see I got carried away by the moment, and here we are adding details to the buildings. Wasn't planning on it, you heard me live, my plan was different, and then it kind of made sense to work on this instead. Just show some windows, some floors, probably just loosen it up a bit. There we go. Now if I had more of that, you know what, I actually have a bit of it. I have this, my Cotman's Cobalt Blue. I wanted to try this one out. Let's see how it's gonna, or you know what, I have even better. Even better, I have some cerulean blue. So let me show you while we're on this area. I think I should be able to make use of this just to add a bit of these blues there. It's just enough. It's not opaque or anything, but I think it's good enough to show through the windows. This is going to be a different story, I think. This I could use my just phthalo, probably, just to get some blues there. It's mostly gray, actually, not even blue. I'm not going to be needing the cerulean. My bad. And then it's wrapped up in darks, like so. I have no idea what this line is. Maybe a cast shadow of something, but here it is. And yeah, so look, we almost have a complete picture here. Now, you could add the asphalt right now. So just to show you how a lot of these things are spur of the moment, I'm gonna mix a bit of a gray here. Let's see, this is blue. I need a cleaner gray. I'm gonna add a bit of red to this and we'll get a gray. Hopefully, and not a brown. Let's see. Yes, but it should be a little cooler, so I'm gonna add a bit of this. Because while we're on this section, I want to show you how just adding the context really makes it look good. Okay, there we go. I think this is close enough. I don't know, but we'll use that. So here is our ground floor. Here it is, painted in one go. And we're gonna add that warm section there as well. Maybe a bit of the orange here too. Yeah, that looks good, quite right. And here it is. See? Just got the road in, it starts to make more sense, it gives the highlights more meaning, and we can actually get rid of a lot of these highlights. They're too exaggerated, so let's tone them down a bit. There we go. Okay, good, 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 good. John, as a kid, were you a fan of Bob Ross? Even to this day, look at those happy clouds. We're going to put some happy clouds up there. Probably not. I'm gonna have to disappoint you, John. I discovered Bob Ross also a little later in life, so yes. Did you know that he was a marine instructor? Then when I left to see the new Happy Bob Ross. Fun fact, when I left, we see the new... He was or you were a marine instructor? I'm not sure, but I do know Bob Ross was in the military. I do know that. A very interesting guy. So let's get this car out of the way, shall we? I'm going to start with that worm. It's an orangey worm. So I can just place that orangey worm in. Then, quite carefully, start wrapping around it with darks. And trying to make it not too enveloped in the darks. See, that's why I made a bit of a gap there. And kind of painting this. And we're not done, okay? We're gonna start establishing some form to these darks. So we have the tire here. We have quite a dark there in this area. We have quite dark here. There we go. The tire, we need to make it stronger, 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 like so. And I think this should be enough to tell the story. It has a bit of reflected light down here, so I'm gonna come back with some water actually. Let's see what happens if I do that, just to lift back a bit of the bottom section. And kind of close off this white gap on the paper. I think I'll darken the whole thing a bit. There we go. I think this should be good enough, hopefully. Worst case, we'll come back and redo. What else? Sorry, I mean when he left. Then when he left, we see the new Happy Walrus. Yes. Okay, let's do something fun. I'm gonna paint the ground just to establish a large shape. Okay, just a large warm shape. So I'm gonna clean this up. Bye-bye. And we're gonna mix a light warm that we'll be using to paint this entire thing here. Okay. This is too yellow, too much yellow. A bit more red, a bit more blue, very hesitantly, I will admit. Yeah, that's better. A bit of water, and check it out. So we have the ground. It's not white, it's light, but it's not white. And I'm just going to paint it to give this some more meaning, okay? And you see how from wanting to work on the background, we ended up working on different areas. That's the reality of actually painting it in a way that you find fun. You can never know exactly how it's gonna happen. If you know how it's gonna happen, it's very likely that you are planning the thing that cannot be planned. That's the bottom line. These things cannot be planned. These things are very much a result of the moment. Now, let's mix a bit of gray once again, because we need that gray asphalt here. There we go. A little warm, that's fine. In fact, you could go over this area if you want to. You don't have to, but you could paint it because it's also gray there underneath the shadow, so to speak. And see how it starts to take shape. We have some greenery here on the edge, which I can kind of start indicating like so, while it's still wet. I don't think it's supposed to be there. It just grows as weeds, but it's there, so I want to show it. And pause. I think this is a good spot to pause. But you see how we're starting to get anchored. Let me bring this over, talk a bit about the process, do a scan, show you what it looks like. And just continue the fun here. So there I am. Let's get rid of the skin. Look at this. See? Now it's still, we're not there yet, but I feel like I need some breaks in between because it's a very demanding process mentally. I have to really focus. But we'll get the background in a couple of moments, don't worry. Mary, Oh wow, I want to make portraits of people as cool as you do portraits of cars. Each is realistic, artistic, and unique at the same time. Unbelievable. Thank you so, so much, Mary. I actually also want to be able to do portraits of people the same way and with the same finesse I paint cars, if I'm being honest. It still eludes me, but I'll get there. So now what you're seeing again is partial context. What we need to do is continue adding the building, sky. I think the rest of this we're gonna add in one go. I think we're gonna just go for it. But look at how just placing this area around here really brings it, it looks like it's there, right? Kind of complete. Now I may have gone a little too warm on the bottom part, but that's fine. I don't think anyone will care. This should be warmer actually, and a little strong. All of this gray should be warmer. I went too cool, but I'll probably have a chance to go over it again because it's still too light. So no worries there. Do you see how it starts to work? Now, yes, this area needs to be a little darker. That's fine. I can do all of these small modifications. In fact, what I sometimes like to do is just let the painting sit overnight. And then I see it more clearly the next day. If you have any questions, let me know now. If not, we'll just let it dry for a couple more moments and continue to the next stages, which will be the finalization of it. Let me make my camera a little lower, slouch a bit. Got tired. So yes, let's see here. 100 portraits challenge. Oh my goodness. That's actually, that is a possibility, though I'm too scared to even imagine what it would be like. But it's definitely a, can I move the camera? There we go. It's definitely a possibility. It will definitely bring me to a different, you know what, I might just do it. Marjorie, look what you're gonna make me do. But I think it will, I think it's a good idea, actually. I already feel the stress of painting portraits evaporate just by thinking about doing such a thing. הלל, sometimes, לפעמים אתה משנה צבע, מוריד, מוסיף פרטים יחסית לתמונת רפרנס בשביל שיפור קומפוזיציה. האמת שאני סתם מנסה לצייר את זה איך שאני רואה את זה, אז האי דיוקים הם תוצאה כנראה של אי דיוק שלי, אבל בגלל שאני כן שם לב לדברים מאוד ספציפיים, אלה הדברים שבסוף יוצאים על הנייר, וזה מה שהופך את זה לסגנון שלי. אז הייתי אומר שזה פחות מתוכנן ממה שההודעה מתארת, זה פחות מתוכנן מזה. The question was about changing, adding, removing details compared to the reference photo. Is it for improving the composition? My answer is mostly it's just happenstance. It's the way I notice things. I miss a lot of details. Sometimes I don't notice them, which leads to that. It's not as deliberate as people may think, but because I notice very specific things, it still ends up looking like my own painting, if that makes sense. And now, by the way, I'm seeing something I'll do to greatly improve the painting. You'll see in a couple of moments. To greatly improve it has to do with the car that's closest to us. We'll do like all the background, we'll get it in one go, then I'll improve the car and it'll be sweet. Dazzling action, always add more paint and water. Yes, indeed. That's what I'm going to do with the car at the front. I'm going to add more paint. Are you drinking coffee or cocoa? I ask because, John, I ask because I think that you said that you don't drink coffee. I do drink coffee, actually. I do. I don't know why in the last couple of days I just didn't really want coffee. So then I switched to just black coffee, boring black coffee. Usually it's espresso. We have a machine that grinds the beans, a DeLonghi, semi-automatic, I think it is. And it's quite good, but I don't know why in the last week I'm like, I don't like the taste. So I ended up kind of taking a break from coffee, but yes, now I'm back to it. I drank just black coffee for a couple of days and now I'm back to this. But yeah, I do drink coffee. Sometimes I put a bit of maca root powder in it. It's pretty good actually. It has a cocoa-like taste. Henny, what's your favorite painting? The one you learned the most from, the one you learned something interesting about yourself from creating. So, not from creating, but I would say from both painting it and selling it and just the logistics around it, I learned the most from OCD to the restaurant. And I'm gonna make a video about that in the next couple of days, actually. Probably a short video on that. You will see it. That's probably the painting that taught me the most. Other than that, it's hard to think about something notable. A painting that taught me a lot. Because that painting did teach me about myself. Letting it go and selling it was one of the best things I've ever done. I'll think about it. It's a good question. It's a good question, Hanny. Thank you. And by the way, building up on that question for you and anyone else here, is there a topic you'd like to hear me talk about? Not necessarily a how-to tutorial, but just a topic. Let me know. This would help me a lot, actually. So if there's something on your mind that you feel like just discussing it will provide some value. Let me know. Hey Cubswin, how are you? 100 Portrait Challenge book would be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Let's wait with the book, but definitely as a challenge, it could be interesting. I'll have to think about it. Let me ponder that idea. I don't know why it caught me by surprise, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Marjorie, I'll credit you when I get started. Thank you so much. So yeah, I think we will continue. Let's take this to completion. I think we can do that. Oh, I wanted to scan it beforehand. I think it's almost dry. Probably enough dry to be scanned. So let's... Yeah, it's good. It is good. I'm going to switch over to the desk. Just scan it real quick. And we'll continue. By the way, as we speak, if I go back to this screen, you have this one here. Probably a lot of you have seen this video. I have it resting here, and I also have this one out here. Always handy. Good. So we have another scan of this one. Perfect. Let's continue here. And once I have the final scan, of course, I can share that with you as well. So I think we're going to take this towards its completion. Are you ready? Hopefully you are, because I am. So I'm going to just go for it. It will be hard to describe what I'm doing. It'll be quite fast, so you want to pay attention. And we'll just get to it. I'm starting with the sky. Did I even mention the sky during this video? The answer is I haven't. I don't think I have. Or maybe I have, just in a word. The reason I haven't mentioned the sky was because I didn't really have a detailed plan for it. But now I feel like I do. So, on how to incorporate it with the rest of the painting. So no happy clouds, my apologies, John, just a sky. And we will start introducing this dark warm color for the building and its details. Should be a little more neutral, so I'll add a bit of black, a bit more of it. But it shouldn't be super dark. So we'll see. I can lighten it up in a second if I choose to. I'm gonna add a bit of orange to it, believe it or not. I feel like it should be a little more orange. Then this will go around here. And we have that other building that I kind of just painted over. That's fine. That is okay. And then what I'm gonna do while it's still wet, let's see if I can introduce some of this blue into it. With some clean water possibly. Let's see if I can get away with this. So we're gonna place the water in and let it kind of do its thing. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna need a bit of warmth for this building here. This is the moment Liron goes berserk. If you're reading the manga Berserk, this is my version of it. A little less violent than Guts's, but that's how I go berserk. And I do have to be a little more careful here, so let's do that. Now for the trees. So that's going to be a tree. Just the start of a tree, and here we have another tree, so that's another one right there. I will probably add a bit of blue here. I don't like the way this looks. And a bit of water. Let's see. Let's see what we can get away with here, just to make it look a little better. We're gonna push it in real time to look the way we want it to. And quite possibly while it's still wet, I could get away with this area here. I know it's gonna, move the sky into it. That's fine. Now, bottoms of the trees can be a little darker, right? So I'm gonna start pushing these, be a little darker. In fact, this entire bit here is darker. There's this nice little, you can see the branches of the tree over a relatively light background. Then this building is a little warmer. That's good. Something like that. And then we have this lovely green. Let's see how I shall do that. Here there's a strong green. I don't know if it's necessary to make it as strong, but that's fine. Gonna switch over to a bit of a darker. And I'll probably mix in the other green into it just to make it a little more neutral and natural. There we go, that's better. And then we have all of the cast shadow by the tree. It's kind of important. And this goes dark. I'm painting this pretty much the same as I painted the first car, when you think about it. Kind of just going for it. Now, I don't know why this bottom here is warm. Bottom of the, I don't know what you'd call that, store level. It's warm. So I could go with that. More darks on the darks. Let it flow together for now. This here, there is a shadow. Almost placed it where I wanted to, but that's fine. Got a little wonky, but that's okay. I think that works for now. And here we have a dark car. So I'm going to start with the darks, actually. Or, you know what? Actually, not sure. Let's just start, see what happens. Bit of a dark here. A bit of a dark here. A bit of a dark here. Then onto the red right here. Let it spread out. And then it's kind of a, I don't know, like a cool mid-value. It's not as dark as the rest. This is a tire and a shadow on the ground and another tire, and everything in between is actually a little lighter because of reflected light. While we're at it, let's get the tires for this car. They're a little darker. So there we go. Tire, another tire, shadow underneath. Some mid values for this area, I suppose. Alongside more darks for the shadowy area right here. Just to give it more volume. Now we'll mix these two into a big crappy mess. Add a bit of darkness, add a bit of warmth. Use it to create these shadows right here. Whatever these things are, they probably have to do with parking or the fire department. Haven't decided yet. The top area is, however, light red, so we'll do that. Cast shadows on the ground to connect these, make them make a little more sense. This building, I actually wanted to start with that and I ended up not. So let's see here. A bit of warm, cool, neutral. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, that is a pretty good color, though it's too red. I'm gonna add a bit of green to that, see what happens there. Yeah, it should be much cooler. Let's see, let's start with a cooler color. I don't know why the colors throw me off now. I used to be much better at noticing neutral colors. Now for some reason I'm having an easier time with brighter colors. So I'm just gonna go with a neutral dark. Around this fence, goes all the way down here, leaves this strip of light that I like quite a bit. And then it's all just abstract details. So let's see. It has a dark kind of ladder thing around the edge. Has these floors. Indication of this is kind of rounded. And then I do wonder if I could get away with, the color looks right. Let's see if I can get away with John Brilliant Sheenhan PWC opaque paint here. For these windows in particular, they look like the color would work well. There we go. While I have it. Why not? So yeah, we're gonna let that spread out a bit. And now I'm gonna move on to the fence. I do need to clean the opaque color, otherwise it's gonna be a mess. So we get some darks here. This fence thing. I would really not want to have to do another wash here. So I'll try and take it all the way, but we'll see how it goes. Sometimes I just feel like the impression is clean, sometimes it's not. I don't have much control over it. Either goes my way or it doesn't. That's fine. Okay. Now let's mix in some of these people here. I'm gonna get them in one go once again. Kid. Guy with a backpack. Or woman. I have no idea what I'm looking at, honestly. I no longer know what it is that I'm looking at. This should be darker. These should be darker. Okay, now we have this orangey thing. Let's start with just an orange and see where that takes us. On top of that, I'll do kind of wet and wet black. This casts shadow. These people, all of them cast shadows. Shadows are a little more neutral. Then this entire area at the back, it's a big mess. Let's see what I can make of it. So there's a bunch of trees there. I'm sweating just from thinking by the way. Leave this strip of light there. And then it goes a little bluish. So let's see, this goes a little blue. I'm okay with these parts of the painting being a little more abstract. I'm just wondering as I do it how I should abstractize them, if that's a word. You know, it's not probably. But yeah, I think that's almost a good start there. Okay, good. I'm sometimes looking at the screen of my camera on my computer just to get a better overall view. There's a tree here in the shadow. Maybe a bit of yellow into that black just to give it some presence. Like so. And then I'm really not sure. Let's darken the ground here and make it, I said it needs to be warmer. It needs to be warmer. So let me clean this area up. Start with this, but make it a little warmer. Move away. Cup of coffee. This is probably going to be too warm. I don't want to risk it too much. Let's see here. Okay, I think that should work. Because I do need it to be a little darker as well. So here we go. Here we go. Yes, that very much works. I'll go over this too. Sweating here. Okay, now this annoys me a bit. This needs to be darker, funny enough. Let's see if I can get away with a blue glaze over it. I think that might work. Yes, it works, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, good, good. Now it's just the details, so let me squint my eyes and get it. So we have this dark spot here, dark area here, all the way down to here to make this thing light. Lots of just kind of random dark shapes. This could be darker, just this shadow here, the beginning of it. A little darker. The people do catch the light a bit. I don't really care to show it. Yeah, this casts a shadow, obviously. And now, let me get these details on the ground. Yeah, that's a good color. So I'm gonna get this pretty much in one go. Something like this. There we go. Yeah, I think that's good. And then the other side of these vents, whatever that is. I have no idea, I'm just here painting it. Kind of like that. Over the left side, they are a little darker, so let's go with that. There we go. And then we have another one here really close. Let's place that in as well. I didn't even draw it. It's funny. Just a bit of it. And then around the bottom, I'll just bring clean water because I don't want it to take too much attention. So just for the bottom, it's going to be this. Just a little bit of a darker paint to get some of the feel. Something like this. We do have this, I don't know what you'd call this thing here. Sewer thing. And here comes a wave, a torrent of shadows. I'm going to try and make it as graceful as possible. Let's pre-wet some of this area so that it flows. It's a little, you know, blended in. And it's a lot of shadows from that fence there that we're gonna get. quite strong actually. These are quite strong. There we go. Also here on the ground. Sorry if this part isn't super descriptive. I'm just doing whatever it is I'm doing. Some windows here. I don't want to make these prominent in any way. Let's do this. And I don't know, I think I'm almost done. Oh, I wanted to do one more thing to that other car. The lower part here needs to actually be darker. Yep. And this should be a little darker too, just to build up its shape. Like so. There are some cast shadows on it, so why not include those in? And I wanted to do this here. So look at what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna make this color brighter. So let's make some room for a brighter, happier, I think, color. I'm gonna do a thin glaze and you tell me what you think, okay? It's gonna be a thin glaze. I think we're gonna like it. See this? Boom. It becomes brighter. I had a feeling this kind of a thing will work. Hopefully it will last, not get too erased once it dries. Same for this little highlight and this area here. I'm putting a bit of, I don't know why, pink shadows under these weeds. I don't know why, just felt like the right thing to do. I think if we just do a bit of these highlights there, wherever they catch my eyes, let's see, and then we'll be done. And then I'll look at your messages. So sorry, I really, it's impossible while I do this kind of a wash. I don't know why, but this looks like it'll make sense. This, I would like to make it a little lighter still. This. This should be lighter. I would just salvage this corner completely. Let's see if that works. Some for the people. Yes, I did want to do that. Her hair, like, it's really visible there. There we go. Backpack or whatever that is. I do see some of these here as well. And I kind of feel like we're done. I'm gonna sign this, scan it, and maybe if I want to, probably tomorrow or something, I'll add more detail. Yeah, I think, oh, there was one more thing I wanted, sorry. One last thing for real. I need neutral. Just need a neutral color here. Okay, good. So I am seeing, and it needs to be quite light, I am seeing a bit of these abstract shapes going around here. I think they will really add a lot to the impression. There we go. See, it creates this look of almost a reflection there. I'll probably do the same here, just go like that. asking for this. Went a little crazy there. I like it though. License plate. Liron. Why not? Yeah, I think that's good. Let's give it a few seconds to dry. I'm going to scan it. We'll look at the final result. That last stretch was quite a challenge. I was not expecting it. Usually when paintings start like this, they don't end up being this big of a challenge. I feel like I might need to change some things or fix some things. We'll see about that. But for now, this is what we've got. This building here, it was crazy. I don't know why I did it like that. I can still darken it, but I don't want it to be just blank, just a boring blank. But we'll see about that. We'll give it some time to dry. Maybe some large shapes here need darkening. I'm honestly not sure. Something is like this half works well for me. This half I'll need to improve. This half right here. Not sure how though or what, but I can do a lot still. I can do a lot to push it. I think even this window, maybe I should push it to be a little darker to bring more attention to it. But for now, this is what we've got. Let me look at your messages because I couldn't do anything. Joey likes the portrait idea. Okay, we'll think about that. John, will you do a live of how you put an angle down on your paper? I'm having a hard time with that. I just put like a random thing under it, either another palette, and I have my board, so the board is on it. It's not really that complicated of a thing to do, but I could show you. Oh, last week I seen a video of this old dude who did a painting of clouds to where they looked poofy, realistic. Cool. Hillel, איך לא התחרפנת כשהצלו של הבניין דף בשמיים? Basically asking how I didn't lose it when the building leaked into the sky. Was it on purpose? When something like this, I'm sure it's done. כן, מניסיון, זה ממש מניסיון, אפשר להתמודד עם הכל, וזה לא מזיז לי. ובתכלס, כאילו, בלוק הכולל של הציור אני אוהב את זה, אז כאילו, זה עניין של טעם יותר. ברגע שאני אוהב את זה, מי שיראה את הציור יבין למה התכוונתי. Hope it makes sense. I'm gonna explain in English too. I like that kind of a look, and I'm okay with how it looks in the grand scheme of things. And I know that when I'm able to enjoy the look of the painting, the people who look at it buy into it as well. That's the main thing. If you buy into it, other people will too. But yeah, I just felt like pushing this to its completion, so I worked fast. There's actually a lot to improve here. Like this went too light. I need to bring back the darkness, bring back generally the darkness here. There's a lot to do here, but I'm gonna put a pause on it now. Maybe I'll share it once I add a couple of more steps. What you do have to understand is this is 90% of the work. The rest is just optimization. You know, now that I look at it, I can add a bunch of darks and it will be fine. Like this does pop to me as a dark that's necessary. But I'll do it later. I think I'll do it later. But you'll see. I'm going to push it more towards its completion. Joanna, David Hockney, one of my favorite artists, did 82 portraits and 1 still life, each painted over 3 days, allowing their personalities to jump out. That's cool. That's a lot of portraits. I like David Hockney. Thank you, Janza Art. Thank you so much. Kabzawin, do you use a color wheel? Analogous and complementary colors? No, barely. It's all in here. It's kind of, I go by intuition usually. Never drink the paint water, Dazzling Action says. Yeah, that never happened to me. I know people who say that can and almost happened to them quite a bit. I have no idea how. I never even came close to it happening to me, but yes. John, Painting Clouds is the channel's name. Oh, that's actually the channel's name. Well, consistent. Username checks out, as they say. How to Paint Clouds for Beginners 101, I think. Oh, I found your channel with the other ones just now. Cool, yeah, I am not a big fan of clouds sometimes. Not in my large, not as a part of a larger painting. I prefer no clouds. It just adds unnecessary complications. Kabzawin, topic ideas: ratio, water to paint, composition for photos, what to leave out. Okay, noted. Joey, the red glaze is a yes. Thank you so much. Yes, I like it. It gave it more. that's the thing. It's slow growth. I can now recognize whenever it's necessary to do these kinds of things. In the past, I wouldn't have been able to recognize that at all. John, do you have a fine tip brush to do the license plate? Yes, I do. It's in the living room, I think, or it's here somewhere. I was just too lazy to take it out, so I just kind of went for it. But it was a great idea, John. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't mentioned it. Kabzuin, what paper and paint are you using? This is Mission Gold. This is the palette that Marjorie has so kindly sent me. It has her own personal setup, and I do have this in the description box. If you can't find it, it should be in the description, my palette, how it's organized. I'm using the reds and the blues and yellows very interchangeably, just trying to get some mix that I think will work. So yeah. The paper is Saunders Waterford 300 gram cold press. But you could use Arch, will be exactly the same. Marjorie, just in time to say hello to everyone. Hey Marjorie, thank you so much for being here. Donna, it's been a while since I've seen you, I think, in a live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Ryan, hope you're doing well. Hey Liron, good day to you, sir. I got here late, so I missed some things. What color did you use for the maroon car? Was that straight out of the pen, or did you mix it? Yeah, so I did mix it, a bunch of reds. I honestly couldn't tell you exactly what was in there. A bunch of reds. Honestly, it's very hard to say exactly. Let me scan it for you and I'll share with you the final result. I suspect, once again, it's one of those paintings that upon completion, it looks like it will require a bit more work, but I feel like I need a break to be able to do the rest of it accurately. Something in it bugs me. Unlike the van painting, when I finished that, I was like, it's perfect. This, something bugs me about it, and I will make improvements and share with you probably on Instagram the final result after said improvements. Najiba, this was wonderful to watch. Thanks. Thank you so much for being here. Much appreciated. Let's see. So I'm going to bring in the final result. Oops, that's not the final result. This is okay. Yeah, I think some darks actually. I just think it misses some of the darks. But once I'll add these in, things will make a little more sense, I feel like. But that's fine. For now, I think it's a good result to kind of end on. Let's see, 1 second. I scanned it. Now just cropping out the sides on Photoshop. Okay, we got it. Image, scan to. There we go. Okay, final results. Where should I? Oh yeah, I should place it here. Silly me. So this is what I've got. I can't point, but oh, you know what? No, it'll be a mess to set it up now. But if I could point, I'll just show you on the painting. You'll see it. Probably some darks around the cars would make more sense, just to bring more attention to them. I quite like this car. I don't want to change too much in it. Maybe just a little bit, maybe even a bit of a dark here in the bottom. Bringing out some highlights that I missed that are more colorful. Could probably do this with some gouache. A bit of organization in this area, just a bit of it, not too much. Maybe make this more neutral, though I kind of like it. I don't know, we'll see. And if I want to organize the sky, I think I'll leave it as is. Honestly, I like it. The color I got is quite accurate for the sky. That I'm impressed by. The scan is not accurate. This is more accurate. For some reason, this camera is more accurate when it comes to colors. The scan's okay, but my scanner really ignores blues for some reason. I need to color correct to find them again. But yeah, this is quite close to the photo, I would say. But yeah, this is where we are. I hope that made sense. Cubs win. How is Ruth? Ruth is doing well. She is enjoying life. Let's say that. She's having a good time. We're pampering her a lot lately. So yeah, she gets playtime. She has a lot of greenery here in this area, a lot of parks. She's enjoying herself. Marjorie, this painting is great, Liron. It was so much fun to be alone for the creation. Nice opportunity for my holiday morning. Awesome. And we've been going on for 2 hours, right? I started 2 hours ago. That's crazy. Ryan, that reminds me, I've been meaning to do a watercolor version of the Statue of Liberty for the 4th. Awesome. Maybe I will get to it today. We'll see. I love painting statues though, so I think it will be fun. Yes, you're pretty good at it, I will say, Ryan. Your color combinations are very interesting. I would love to see that kind of a thing. Remy, yay for gouache. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been fun. I've shown it real quick earlier, just this little sneak peek, but you've seen the video probably. So just for comparison's sake, this is a painting that took much longer than this. So this we worked on and off for 2 hours. This painting, I should point it here rather, this painting was, I don't know, maybe 3-4 hours of just painting, removing the breaks. And it was done in a bit of a different process. I was just focused on that. I wasn't focused on narrating while I do it. So yes, that's kind of the difference when you work this way or that way. And it was gouache, of course. Cubswin, you didn't tape down sides, so how does it stay flat? In my experience, first off, it's not perfect. It does have a bit of a bend to it, but in my experience, the curviness comes from when you just paint in one area very, very wet. Once you paint over everything, it kind of flattens naturally. I don't really have an issue with it curving a bit, but it's not too noticeable. It never is really, even when you don't tape it. It's what I find. From experience, I've also watched a lot of videos that say you have to paint it. What I discovered from my own experimentation is you don't. You just don't. So yeah. I just like holding the paper and moving it however I want. Again, it's one of those things that from experience I gathered that's how I like to do it. By the way, you're not seeing the values that accurately. Let me fix that for you. I don't know why that happens. The colors also, as I mentioned, but the values are really inaccurate. There we go. Let's see if I can correct the colors for you for a second. If I do auto color, no, it's going to be a nightmare. Image adjustment. Color balance. I want you to see the colors more accurate to what they actually look like. Yep. Okay, 1 second. Shadows. Just takes a moment in Photoshop. I've been doing this so much that it's pretty intuitive by now. I know how to get the neutral accurate look. There we go. Okay, so you're gonna see an improvement in a second once the picture updates. I think it has. I think, yeah. That's what it actually looks like. A little more accurate. John, Liron, if you went maybe with the red tall building, you can make that a tall red maple tree. Oh, that's interesting. Haven't thought of that, but a huge maple tree, right? It's pretty bombastic, yes. Nancy, thanks, Liron. Enjoy your time away and get some more great reference photos. Yes. I don't know. It's going to be just a resort thing, but maybe I'll find a few good photos. Who knows? Remy, how long do you spend sketching versus painting? I find that if I try to do it all in one sitting, I rush the process and my work suffers for it a little. Yeah. When you're rushing through it, usually it means there's an ulterior motive, which is fine. Everyone has that. I have it too. The ulterior motive, to me, anything that is not just creating is an ulterior motive. Usually if I rush, it means I'm worried about something. I'm thinking about how this will turn out. I'm thinking about things that are not the painting, and that usually does not lead to good results. Something to think about, Now, as for, painting versus sketching, I traced this. I like to spend as little time as I can on the sketch because I like to get to the painting stage. That's very often the case, especially if it's for a demo. I just want to get a sketch done so that I can share the painting process. Sometimes I won't do a sketch. Sometimes I paint directly. That leads very often to even better results. But yeah, a lot of this painting, I think what I don't like, some things I still don't like about it, is some of it is a little too illustrative for me. It's kind of, it's almost like a simplification. Some areas are a simplification of reality rather than an impression of it. And I like for it, not a simplification of it, a stylization of it. And I like for it to be an impression of it, not a stylization, if that makes sense. That's the thing I'll have to work on a bit. Remy tracing is underrated. Thanks for admitting. Yeah, definitely. I do that all the time. Thank you so much, Marjorie. Also, yes, we'll have a fun time. We're going Sunday. We'll be back on Thursday. It's short, 1 hour flight. We're good. Easy peasy, just to rest for a couple of days. Yeah, I think this is it. I think we'll look if you have some questions and then we'll wrap it up. Ryan, I have a Saunders watercolor block I'm painting on now and it's a great paper. However, every time I paint and the paper buckles, it starts to detach the glue from the paper and the sheet rips off. Really? Yeah, that could happen. I barely use blocks, honestly. They are very convenient for painting plein air, but most of the time I just paint over, you know, just a piece of paper, so I don't have that issue. I'm trying to think if I had that happen with Arch, because I did use a few Arch blocks in the past. I don't think that happened to me. What you can do is just put a tape on it. So even though it's a block, put the tape on the sides, kind of, you know, tape it over the block. That way it will attach it and you'll get a nice clear border if that's your thing, you know. That could solve it for you. So just grab the block, place tapes on the sides and, you know, fold it over the block, over the block, over the block. I used to do that also. Oh, maybe that's why it didn't happen to me. I used to do that a lot. I'd put tape over the sides. I used to do it to get the clean frame, but honestly now I don't care much about the clean frame. I just paint over it however it is. So yeah, but it could be a solution to that. I tried that, Ryan. Hope that makes sense. Yes, hey Jill, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. What else is in the plan? I think I will do a couple more shorts. I filmed a couple of interesting ones I think you'll enjoy. Kind of more entertaining, relatable ones. We'll see how it goes. I'll mix those in with some processes. I have an interesting idea that has to do with this process, by the way. An interesting video idea. Because I have painted a similar scene before as you... By the way, if you haven't watched this gouache painting video, you know, even if you're into watercolor exclusively, it is relevant. Check it out. You will learn from it, I'm sure. Check it out. Check it out, check it out, check it out. It didn't get many views and I would really appreciate it if you do. And it's a sponsored video. I want to show the sponsor we got the views. But yeah, thank you so much. And I do know some people clicked the link and purchased products, so thank you as well. Much appreciated. Donna, have a great trip. Was fun to watch this morning, 9 a.m. Minnesota, USA. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Donna. John, how do you start a waterfall? Oh, yeah, I said I'd paint a landscape. I completely betrayed your trust because the last live stream we said a landscape and waterfall, and then I completely forgot. My bad. So maybe next week or the week after. So sorry about that. I completely forgot about that. That's really... I'm going to write it down now because otherwise I'll forget. Let's do it like this. Oh, Thursday, I'm still on vacation. So the week after that, it is going to be this. Let me just write it down. I really have to do it now. Live landscape and water or waterfall, I write down. Okay, good. So yes, hopefully I won't forget. What else? Where's my window? There we go. Lost it for a second. How do you start a waterfall with the colors from in the distance to you? The colors are not right for me. Yeah, it's... Sometimes I'll use Photoshop to sample the color and make sure I see it accurately. It really depends on the conditions of the scene. If it's a more well-lit scene, you'll find that the water has stronger blues in them from the sky and also some warms from the ground and the sun. If it's more of a overcast scene, the water will tend to be a little flatter and more gray. Same goes for winter scenes, snowy scenes. The water tends to be more gray. That's when it comes to colors, but ultimately the answer is use whatever means you have to sample the color accurately. If that means isolating it with a little squiggly square, that like a viewfinder, or if it means to swatch it in a software just in the beginning, just to see it, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's this color, and then you're able to paint it better. Which is kind of where I'm at with the painting I'm working on right now. There's water there, but it's gray because it's a winter scene. I hope that makes sense. What I'll show you, hopefully in 2 weeks. Comes when in a painting that you plan to sell commercially, would you trace? Yes, definitely, even more so. I think the customer pays for the end result, not for the process, you know. So definitely I would trace. Ryan, I usually draw freehand, but sometimes I use my Apple Vision Pro. Oh, that's cool. To put the image on the paper if I'm in a hurry. There's an app called DaVinci you can use. Yeah, so DaVinci I tried it on my phone, didn't have a good time. Now, do you have a good experience? Did you have a good experience with Apple Vision Pro for tracing specifically? Was it accurate enough? Was the AR aspect of it accurate enough to get an accurate thing done? If it was, I'm excited. I don't think I'll get it, but maybe the next model, if it's good enough, I'll consider it. So yeah, that's interesting. I did see some people use it for that purpose, and I don't know if it's comfortable enough. Marjorie, inconvenient and accurate. Haven't been visiting with you all for a while due to a trip to emergency, then intensive care for a couple of weeks. So glad I made it back. Yes, I'm glad too, Marjorie. Stay healthy. Feel free to keep me posted or send me an email if you want to tell me more about it. Hopefully things ease up and you feel better. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully I and everyone else here can keep you entertained for a while this stream is going on. John, as in water, when the water hits, yeah, that foam, you mean rocks, and that has the white look coming down with the white. That's mostly grays, usually. Usually that's grays, and it's a little more cool and warm. You get more of the spectrum of cool and warm when it's sunnier. And when it's overcast or winter, you get more of a gray. Remy, the secret to good water is good. The good watercolor, baby. Yes, so the swamp-like color. Yes. I have a video like that, by the way. Check it out. How to paint a wave. It's kind of showing a bit of that foam. But I will cover it hopefully in 2 weeks. Remy, being able to paint light on dark is important for me. I'm not the biggest fan of working with negative space. Too messy and more pre-planning than I like. Yeah, so I got so used to it that I kind of enjoy it and appreciate it, but I totally get it. John, and will you do a fish? Mine just looks like a squiggly line. Oh, I'll have to find a reference for that. I don't have anything I'm thinking of. Let me see. Let me see if I can find something like that. Royal Blue, I think the only thing I do is darken the shadow on the road behind the closest crimson car. Really? That, for now, I will leave it like that. I know what you mean, it could be darker, but I'll keep it like that for now. Because I like how it blends with smoothness and ease. From my experience, if I add another layer on top of it, it won't be as impactful as I want it to be, and it will kill off the flow there. But that's a matter of taste. You can definitely do that. Donnie Ray Obina, thank you for sharing. Great work. Thank you so much. Why did the chat jump on me? Right, I lost it. There we go. Okay. Thank you for being here. I don't remember your username. Maybe it's the first time I see you on a live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Jacqueline Parks, good morning. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th, by the way, again. Thank you. Happy 4th to everyone who celebrates. Comes away not familiar with gouache. What is the difference to watercolor? It's just you can use it thicker more easily. When I poured it out from the pans, it flew better without water. But yeah, watch the video. It's almost the same if you water it down, but you can use it with more opacity and it will look good and opaque. Ryan T, well, I haven't used anything else to trace an image, so I can't compare. However, you can fine-tune the position of the image, horizontal, vertical, depth, opacity, so you have a lot of control. Yeah, as long as it got the result you wanted. If you got an accurate result, then it means it works well. That's the thing I'm kind of not sure. But if you say it was good, then good. Chloe, you're definitely getting more detailed and it's looking almost just like the photograph. Thank you for allowing us to share your process. Yeah, thank you so much, Chloe. Yes. Yeah, and my goal is not necessarily also to have it look like a photograph. My goal is to have my impression there. Some of it is a little sloppy, but I think this shape went a little too fast there. But yeah, slowly but surely. I definitely have to say the part I enjoyed most about this one is this car. Closest one, for sure. Is the one I enjoyed most. I think the background, like as in everything around it, needs some work. Everything that goes to the left of this wall, I think, right here, needs some work. Because this section I really, really like too. This one here. Is gouache more like acrylics? I wouldn't say so. I liked it much better than acrylics. For the times I tried acrylics, I had much more fun with gouache. It felt more natural to me. It's almost like, imagine all of your watercolors were opaque like the yellows, but you can still water them down like you could with, you know, a lemon yellow. You could water it down. It's a little more on the opaque side, so imagine your blues, your reds, everything is more opaque. But you can still water it down. Even when you water it down, it stays a little more opaque. That's how I would describe it. There are some differences in how it handles, and honestly, I need to dive deeper on it to really figure it out. But yeah, that's something for me to explore. Maybe I'll share some more insights. Thank you so much, Cubswin. Thank you. So I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much. Voices started. We're going to see a play today. It's Thursdays usually, so it's going to be fun. Let's get one more. Mayuk, how do I get the timing of watercolors more accurately? Ooh, that's a good question. I think you have to experience it. I think you really have to experience it a few times, see what happens when you do different things, and that's pretty much the only way to really master it, truly master it and make it your own. That's the bottom line. Instead of following someone else's methods and techniques, you do far better to get a sense for it on a very personal level, how it feels to you personally. And then you'll develop your own way of doing things. That's the thing. It's a bit hard to describe, but I hope that makes sense. It's a good topic for a video, actually. I'll let it kind of marinate. I'll maybe get on it. It's a good topic. Donnie, yes, it's my first time here. Just recently discovered your works. Thank you so much. From then on, I always check your video from time to time. I really learned a lot watching from the Philippines. Thank you so much, Donnie. Much appreciated. Thank you. B. Parsons, this has been a great distraction from the self-portrait. I'm doing it for the third time. Well, very happy to hear. Self-portraits are an interesting piece of work. It really is. Chloe, the focal point is perfect, takes the eye right to the maroon card. Thank you so much. John, keep looking him up. He's switching his YouTube time. You mean for the live stream? Are you talking about me or someone else? If anyone draws, look up. Oh, okay, Incology. I missed it. If anyone draws, look up Incology. He is good. Awesome. Incology. I don't think I was familiar with Incology. I'm gonna look it up now. Incology. Let's see here. Incology. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's called now Tattoo Removal. I'm not sure I got to the right channel, but we'll see. Oh no, that's HP channel. That's completely wrong. Okay, oh no, I'll look it up later. In any case, yes, thank you so much. Thank you, John. Orion, thank you so much for being here. Happy 4th to everyone who celebrates. Thank you, Mayuk. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, B. Parsons, Donnie, Cubs Win. Thank you, everyone who was here. I'm going to wrap it up for today. Much appreciated. We'll share the scan with you over the next couple of days, maybe after some improvements. We'll see. But I really appreciate it. His name is Josh. Awesome. Awesome. I'll look it up. And this is really, again, this is the 90% of the process. The rest, small touch-ups. If you think you messed it up, by the way, Hillel, you also asked about it. You haven't. There's a lot you can do from this point on, and I think I'll take this painting as an example for that. I'll take it to the point where it's perfect, and I'll share it with you. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon. Until next time, take care. Don't know if there will be a video on Saturday in particular, and what video, we'll see about that. But until next time.